Hello everyone and welcome back to the Amber Music channel. Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be breaking down a song I made called Skylines. It's a future-based track that I just kind of made. I didn't really have any inspiration for it. So I guess we'll get started with the intro, which sounds like this. So it's a pretty basic intro. It's just got some keys. Which are just a Vital preset called Lo-Fi Roads from Echo Soundworks. I've used their stuff in a lot of projects. It's pretty good. We have just a background pad that I made out of the melody using Moonboy's Pad Maker, which just sounds like this. Which is just another preset, but from the City of Bells demo pack. Just has a sidechain glue compressor with a pad maker, which I have another one that automates on near the end of the song. 2 filters just to keep it a bit cleaner. And then an OTT to bring back some of the crispiness. And then you just have a little sample here, just an ambience thing. Which was a bit, short, so I added a reverb to it to keep it a bit longer. Filter just to clean up a bit of the highs. Let it sit in the mix well. Have some rain here, which is just an EQ, reverb, and then a glue compressor for sidechain later on in this part. Have just a little crash. That same thing, same processing. And I think that should be everything, so we can move on to the break. Which has the same keys from before, and then another one that I added, which I think is just grand piano. Yeah. With the pad maker on it. It's just keys start grand, which y'all have seen me use before if you've watched any of the other videos. I have a melody with a lot of layers, which I just made. I thought it sounded nice, so I put layers on it. So, this layer is more of like a mid-frequency layer. It's CLST Moonlight, which is what I made the pad over here off of. And then this one is kind of just a... I think all I did was I made a saw wave and made it really wide. No. I apparently didn't make this layer. That was later. But yeah, it's just... It's kind of... Huh. Just a little pluck, I guess. And I think this is just the same thing, but yeah, less wide, because I made this one really wide to kind of fill up the stereo field a bit. You have the same Reese from before, same pad, ambience. You have just another faller and a little impact, which I'll add sidechain to this little drum loop here that I got from Oversampled. That's just being filtered in. Just cut some of those frequencies and then added a little boost to the low end. And then over here you have a little sweep up to transition into the break. And then a little sub drop thing I got from Splice that just I reversed into the sub drop for the build. Just that kick from the build to help put into this little bit here. What was that? To help transition is what I mean. And then I cut everything but the melody. And then it's just the build, which sounds like this. Okay, for the build, we have just a sub drop. Just kind of loud. Same impact and sweep from before. Got the same Reese bass, and then the melody. I basically just cut the keys, added drums, the same fill from there. A little laugh sound effect that I put before, like, most of my drops. Kind of just as, like, a signature. And then we got some saws I made in Vital. Just like your standard little build-up saws. Which if you take away the filter, it just sounds like this. Which just kind of sound like future bass saws. Just added the filter, keep it a bit cleaner. No effects, it's just that. Just some OTT, reverb, and then an EQ to keep it clean in the drop. Okay, that's yeah, and then we have this little melody thing that's in the drop that I added here, just as a nice transition. Which has a lot of delay, which is kind of annoying. But I think that's all for the build. It's a pretty little minimalistic build thing. There's not much. I mean, I guess I could show you the snare and kick pattern, which was slightly interesting. It's just a standard little rising thing, and then I added I don't think you'll be able to see it because yeah, no, you can. I added clip transposition on the snares to make them rise a bit. And then we have what hopefully some of you have been waiting for, which is the drop.
Switch up.
Okay, so it's a lot of stuff going on. there's a lot of saws layers, which together sound like this. Which I grouped together just to put an EQ on it, make it sound a bit cleaner. Just cutting some of the aggressive mids, boosting a little bit there, and then boosting some of the highs. You know, just keep it clean. So that's the same saws from before, just with reverb automation. There's this, which is a modified version of the saws. There's a modified EQ too. So here's one thing that you don't see in a lot of songs that kind of gives my sounds a little bit of a kind of signature thing, is I put a lot of detuned square waves in my saws, just to make it sound a bit, but I think it's better. Some people would disagree, but it fits the sort of vibe I'm going for, and I think this is just pitched up saws. I meant to say square waves. There's a lead just to add that little extra bit of crispiness to the top, which is just the last preset shifted up, and it's just the top note. So if you add them all together, it sounds like this. You got a sub bass, which just has the same LFO. And you have a different bass I made just to add a little bit in the mid-range that you don't really notice unless you're looking for it. Which is just a kick that I put into the sampler, added a tiny bit of white noise, and then some effects, just to make it sound a bit better. Turn off the effects, and it just sounds like this. Just add a bit of crispiness to the bass. So then you have this, which you can hear kind of in the background. It's just a little arp. Which is just that. I took away the LFO and just added a little thing there. Yeah. And there's just a faster version for this. Sorry, I meant slower. Whatever. And then we just have the same little melody thing from before. Just kind of in the middle. So you have this little laser thing that I think I made. Yeah. Just add a bit of crispiness again. It's literally just a sine wave with pitch automation and volume automation. There's literally nothing interesting about it. There's this, which is what I was talking about earlier. Just a little plucky thing that I made. It's literally just that. And then this, which is the same lead. And you see they're all being automated because the delay was making the whole thing muddy. Okay, so drums. What do the drums sound like? The drums sound like this. And then just repeats. So, little detail that probably one or two of you noticed. The snare is longer here than here, because that's a little transition thing into the next saw, into the next chord. So, I put a longer snare, just to make it seem a bit more open. The kick is on the snare as well, just to give it that sidechain, and again, crispiness. A lot of stuff in Future Bass is just about the crispiness of the sound. So for this, there's two layers. It's sort of this main one you can hear. Just that, and then a little transient that I think kind of helps. You can only really hear the difference if you're looking for it. And then later on, I add 3 hat loops, just from Polychrome and Ultimate Future Bass Toolkit from Oversampled. Okay, and then up here we just have some, like, laugh sound effects. Just sound like this. Which are just resampled from something. And then we have this, which is just switch up.
Switch up.
Yeah. Just some samples. And then here we have, well, the switch up, which is just automated macros on the saws to make it sound different. So I just took away the art basically, and then changed the macros on everything, and I added the hats to get the switch up, which leads into the breakdown, which sounds like this. So yeah, it's literally it's just a copied and pasted breakdown and build, I think. Yeah, so you just copy and paste it, so I guess we'll just get straight into the second drop, which sounds like this.
Switch up.
So as you can hear, the switch up is exactly the same. It's really just the, I guess, A part of the drop here, which has most of the same drums, the exact same pattern until here.
Switch up.
Which is just this in triplets, which is pushed like really far down, so it just gives a nice transient. Instead of that, it's just
Switch up.
with a kick, and then just the same switch up sample.
Switch up.
That's all. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, on the saws here, in everything, there's MIDI control pitch bend to just give it a little bit more, I guess, edge to it, whatever the word would be. So this is when things get a little bit more interesting, because you have same bass, same little hurt, and then I just move the saws over a little bit, so it just has the saws with, I think, a separate bass. No, that's a melody. What? Yeah, it just has, I just moved the saws over, basically. And then I did it again, added the little laugh sample as a transition. Where, yeah, that's the separate bass I added. Which is just a nice sub bass, and then like a saw bass, and then we just have the arps, which I think I added. Yeah, I added another layer too, which sounds like this. Because you can hear the top layer didn't have many mids. Sorry. This has more mids. I mess with the EQ. Yeah. And then it just goes back into saws, back into the chords, back into the laugh, and then back into the ARP, which I just duplicated again. Do it again, and then again, I guess. Yeah, you duplicate it once, actually. And then it's the same B part, same switch up. And then that's really it. And then going into the end, which I forgot to stop soloing. So going into which the end really is not that interesting. It's just this sweep effect with a crash, and then the pad, and then this pad, but this one has the second pad maker, making it sound a bit like pushed farther out, I guess. And they have the same sweeps to just sort of end it with volume automation to cut all the delay off. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Song should be on Spotify soon. Shattered Reality is out now, which is the album. See y'all next